I'm really interested in this, man. So, what led you to this product? Because have you always been a photographer, or was this something that you built up to?
Yeah, it's rather a long story. Basically, I think 2025 or six, I went to Australia I just discovered the film camera. And I took the film camera there. I was like over 1.5 years there. And I fell in love with analog photography. Before that, I had done a little bit only about digital, but like analog kind of clicked. I found my visual style, and because in home I had to do my thesis in design, then I kind of found like a realm where to do it, and I found like and then I started researching, did my first development, uh, film development, and yeah, from there it progressed until the product, basically. So it's my thesis work, the Saga film processor.
Is it strange to look back on it from where you started and to see where it's at now? Because you went from just a thesis to a product that's out in the world and that people are using and love.
Yeah, it has been a really long journey actually. Like I didn't have anything basically, so it's from scratch. Tried to find the money for that. Uh, like I was doing that at home like 3 years basically, without outer validation or stuff like that. I just felt it's the right product on the market because people were speaking about is the analog gonna survive or not, and like before the thesis, I looked different problems. Like digitizing was the problem back then, but like some DLSR scanning systems already were on the market. So I felt like the development side is really lacking, and also like the lab equipment, like those Colentas and mini labs, are kind of depreciating. So there was a question how in the future people develop film. So this kind of pushed my research and then thinking, and yeah.
It's crazy to me that you went from not really knowing all that much to this product because it's so well thought out and well planned. You guys have things already pre-programmed that are just next level. It's plug and play for me, which was great because I didn't have to use my brain as much as I normally would have to when developing, and it's just freed me up so much. I just wanted to commend you on the thought and research and quality that you've put into these products. And not only that, you guys have a great customer service. If there's an issue, you guys handle it right away. And you don't see that with a lot of companies. So I can tell that you care about the film community. And what's the how has the film community responded to your product? Are they excited about it, or are you taking feedback from them?
And like there is always different kinds of feedbacks. Like in the forums, people are speaking it's too expensive, but this is my minority. But yeah, like people who, even if we made a survey, like people who have Ago would buy it again, like 90%. Like, and oftentimes when we get some issue with the machine, they say that I love your product, but I have a problem now. So uh, yeah, we're really happy about our customers, and they are really supportive and lovely persons.
I think the support is mostly because of how you talk about film photography. And that, like I said, people can tell that you genuinely care about the art form of photography. And it's not, I'm sure profit is involved somewhere. But for the most part, it seems like you're doing this because you love film photography. There's not all that many film photographers out there in the world compared to digital or phone photographers. So for you to come up with a new product in this day and age for an art form that people thought was dead or dying for so long, it's really nice to see new innovation and new technology and new blood coming out for this. And this is a game changer for me. I used to dread developing, and now it's just like I look forward to it so much. Sometimes I'll go out and shoot just to develop film because this has made it so much easier for me. I've what's really happened is you've cost me money because I'm shooting so much more film now.
Sorry for that. I'm an engineer by background. I love making stuff, and I always looked some kind of business to make with my skills. And then I found the next thing to love, so analog photography. And the initial, like the mission was to support people doing developing at home. So this is coming from there. So yeah, of course, the company have to be profitable to make new products, invest in R&D. You have to have your margins there, so to be like sustainable in the end. So
A lot of people don't understand that. They think it should be catered to them at the lowest dollar value that they can find because a lot of film photographers are poor and broke. I'm one of them, I know. But it's just, I like that you're taking an approach where you're taking feedback from the community and standing on your principles. If something is wrong with the machine, you take care of it. If the community has input, you listen to it. And that's so important. And I think people really appreciate that. I know I appreciate that. And I know that other photographers I've talked to who have been following your company really appreciate that. So it's just, you've built a great bridge between your product and the community. And I'm really excited for for anything you guys have coming in the future for this. I know you're probably still working on different innovations and tools to go along with this. I saw you just put out that new pour funnel. That's a newer product. Are there plans to integrate more tools and more products along with this, like a phone app where you can connect to it in the future and make presets or anything like that?
so we have done quite many add-ons, so like accessories, so large format reels, 110 reel, which is Patterson tank compatible. There was no one on the market. Now there is a Super 8 reel, which is the latest one. So we can develop Super 8 with Ago, which is also quite big thing in motion picture world. And yeah, we have quite many ideas where to go with that. The app thing is probably in the future there will be next version of Dago, and we will do it on that. But at the moment, it's kind of hard to make it working on this version of Dago.
I have no problems with this machine whatsoever, by the way. I was just curious about, as somebody that has anxiety and worries about development a lot, I would just like to be able to monitor it remotely if I have to run into the other room. So that was just something that's been kicking around in my brain that I wanted to ask you about. Because I guarantee if it's on the next model of this machine that comes out, I'm going to be getting one of those too. Because that would just, it would calm me down about my developing worries. And this has already lowered those worries so much because I'm not the best at temperatures and I'm not the best at agitation, and this takes away all that worry. It's, you really found your spot in a market that needed something new injected into it because there's older machines and there's other products, but those didn't make me feel as safe as this did. And I feel like this is an improvement upon older technologies. Did you take inspiration from those older technologies, or did you just start everything from scratch? Like, you didn't look into the research of the other stuff and you didn't purchase any of those? This is all like fresh from your mind?
I researched quite a lot actually. So like basically like agitation, for instance, was a big research topic for me, and I looked much into that. Other than that, there is no device on the market which measures temperature and adjusts the time. Also, there is Okay, there are like Filmomat and those Divas, which have really good user interface and kind of self-explain you how the process goes. All the timers are there, but these are like 4,000 euros machines. So basically, my idea was we had this automated agitation, then the temperature control, and also the user interface plays a big part of that, making this your life a bit easier. For instance, you see the timer, you see also what chemical to pour in. So because like this can switch up and you can ruin your development session. So but yeah, like if you're speaking about next model, you can even more make this user experience better for you. So even the beginners can learn from it and do really good developments with that machine.
For reference, I did not even have to read the manual to understand how to operate this. So your user experience is phenomenal. I have been singing the praises of this thing since the moment I opened it and used it. And I'm going to be honest, I did not trust your temperature controls because I thought I had everything under control. I was like, there's no way it can do it better than me. And then I was so angry because of how much better the negatives turned out, but I was enthralled at the same time. So I was just like, man, these guys do know better
Yeah,
than me.
we have had quite a lot of feedback that your temperature sensor is like missing by 2 degrees. And we do given like few of our machines to certifying company to like see if our temperature probes are off or not. So, but I think there is misconception that if you take 39, okay, you're in Fahrenheit, like it's 68 or Fahrenheit or yeah, taking your 68-degree chemical into the tank. The machine should show us 68, but actually it drops by 4 degrees or something like that because the tank is cold and it instantly cools it down. So
That temperature adjustment is great. You guys won an award for that, didn't you?
yeah, Tipaya, and even Red Dot also gave a award. So yeah.
How did that feel to win an award for your thesis that ended up being a product? Because I would be elated.
Yeah, like the DIPA was, we didn't know anything about about DIPA before, but like we also went to Nuremberg where it was given to us, like all the companies there, the Sony's, you name it, all big companies are on the stage and taking the awards, and we were also there.
I bet it was shocking.
Yeah, it was.
What were some of the biggest hurdles and challenges that you had when you were developing this? What was one situation that really stuck for you?
I think like the first part was to like finding the people because I'm a mechanical engineer by like my work experience and studies, and finding all the people needed with really low not a lot of money. So I have to find the like hardware or like electronics engineer from Ukraine. It was really cheap and good. uh, like and all the other people, they have to make connections and find the people to make a good product, and also like finding money for that. So um, like before we had the Indigo campaign where we got 100,000 euros, but like getting to that point, we still needed about 15,000 euros for that. So finding that money and making a good Indigo campaign. Fortunately, analog community is really good on that. So if you have a good idea, or everyone wants to write and make YouTube videos about that. So this helped a lot actually. So
I did contribute to the Indiegogo campaign back when you guys were doing that because I was so excited about it. It's just, it's really nice to see, like I said, it's so nice to see people committing to a new idea for an old product. And you don't see that very often. There's not a lot of companies that take risks when it comes to older technologies and older art forms. And it's just great that you guys took that risk. And I think it's going to pay off. I think anyone who uses this product immediately knows that you care about the film community because it's so well thought out. It's not just a money grab, which a lot of products out there are. It's just they will build a bad product just to make a dollar. And this is a great product at a frankly great price point. Man, I cannot stop singing the praises of this thing. I really like what you've done here.
Yeah, like we're like no-name company coming from Europe, so you have to make the price reasonable. But like for us, like the innovation played a big role how like on our pricing. So usually these kind of machines or jobos are much more expensive, not only because it's a brand name, but because it's really much more bigger of a machine. So making that is also more expensive. So we kind of like innovation helped us a lot on that. So we could make like 10 times smaller machine, like and 5 times cheaper because of that. So you have to be clever sometimes.
Is your product built by hand or is this factory manufactured?
Basically, we order all the components, like the plastic parts are injection molded, and other parts are kind of standard machine components. And then ladies with their fast hands put those together. So because it's quite small volume production, there is no point of including some robotics or stuff like that.
I appreciate that. I like because then you guys can quality control and catch anything that might be wrong with it. That's such a good business model. I like that you're building like you're assembling them by hand.
So yeah, basically we don't do it ourselves. We order all the components, and one other Estonian company who specialized in electronics and assembly assemble those. But they are quite close to us, so if there is any problem, we can contact them. We can visit them. Like if you're doing it in China, like most do, it's really hard to make new revisions or new improvements fast, like without like knowing what's going on actually there. So that's quite good on us actually.
It really is. Man, you made such a good product. I'm excited. I've been so excited about this interview. What are your goals for the next 5 or 10 years with Ago and Vintage Visuals? Where do you see this going? Because if this is the first product you're putting out, I can only imagine what you're working on for the future.
Bringing up new products isn't the easy feat. In the future, we want to make a new version of Ago. Definitely, we have quite many ideas how to improve on that. Then there is like the accessory side. This is almost quite covered already. So the idea always has been like it's not only about developing 35 millimeter color film. There is so much more to offer in analog. We kind of think it's like an ecosystem, and Ago is the heart of the ecosystem. So you can make different things with Ago. For instance, RF4 prints, or now like the Super 8 or large format. I know. Name more processes what could be included in that. So it's not only developing, but getting a real printouts out of that. So or positive slide movie, showing it from the projector. But yeah, like Dago is, I think, kind of developed already. So we're kind of looking more where we can maybe implement the same technology that we have developed already. And we have some kind of really different ideas also, actually, we're excited about. But we're not speaking about that at the moment.
Don't mention that in public. Someone will steal that. Just keep those ideas for yourself. I know how this product
I
theft
think
goes.
no one speaks like Apple.
You don't want any of that corporate espionage going on where somebody's slinking in to steal your ideas, except Apple would do it anyways. What do you think has caused the popularity of film photography to rise again? Do you have any thoughts on that?
It's my own experience, what I've seen and felt about analog photography. And also during my thesis, I kind of looked into it more and what's the driving force behind analog resurgence, or how you call it. For me, I think of three steps. Like first, how analog attracts people is like the visual aesthetics, and you have different films, different looks, black and white film, color film, slide film. The essence of the film is really appealing at first. For instance, I was doing digital a little bit before that, and I went to Lightroom and I started moving all the sliders and kind of overtuned my photo always, and I didn't find my visual style basically. So getting the film photo out of your camera, the look is baked into the film what you get. So, and it's really natural in a way. So this was the first thing for me. The second thing is the process itself is really different than digital. It's kind of a rewarding process. So we take photos, you don't see them, take to the lab, and then there is like surprise, like what you got out of that. It's like a longer span. So you kind of forget what you had, and then you look again the pictures. So basically, you put different decision-making steps in between of your process with the time gap. So you kind of learn more from the process or the photos that you make, and you dedicate some time to each photo to make it real. And in the end, the photos are more meaningful for you, and then probably much better than just taking so many shots of a subject.
I agree. I'm a digital photographer professionally. That's what I do for the day job. And film has always been a hobby for me. I get so bored shooting digital photos because I know what the product is going to be before it even gets to having to edit those photos. You get to see the photo in the back of the camera or your EVF or whatever, and then it's just a matter of tweaking things and colors until you're pleased. With film, you have to kind of take a risk and let go and let the process unfold. Yeah, you're probably going to mess up a lot of photos, but I like that risk because it is so much more rewarding when you actually get good photos.
Like at the beginning, even like the bad photos are really interesting for you. Trying a new film stock, getting really weird results is like, wow, that's quite nice actually. There is kind of surprise element on that, and everything doesn't have to be perfect.
It's the feeling that I get from the film that I don't get from digital. Every film stock has its own personality or style. And rather than buying a preset for digital photography, the film is a preset itself. I have a strong film addiction and I spend too much money on film, and I'm spending even more money on film now. But my results look so much better because of this thing.
And then maybe the third point actually is like there are so many different cameras and formats to explore, and getting inspired of the machines you can work with is also a really interesting part. At first doing the 35, then getting to medium format, so many different cameras and formats. As a mechanical engineer, it has been always really interesting for me to get a new camera and shoot with that.
As a mechanical engineer, have you torn apart any film cameras just out of curiosity?
No.
No.
Like some simple ones maybe, but like I know there are so many gears inside. Putting that back together is a headache. So I rather just appreciate the outer side of that things and think how things are working inside.
The episode I just released this week, it was with Martin from AOK Camera. He's a camera repair technician, and he's trying to sell people on learning the art of camera repair and how tedious it is and how careful you have to be, because there are only so many film cameras left in the world, and there's only a handful of people that fix them left. So he's trying to bring that back. And I didn't know if that was something you were interested in, just out of a hobby, not for a product or anything. It's just as a mechanical engineer, I'd be tearing these things apart. Except I did do that, and now my camera doesn't work.
Our northern neighbors, Finland, there is a company called Camera Store. They're also selling cameras and repairing those. I actually applied to the position to become a camera technician, but they didn't take me. So
Martin was telling me that Camera Store has is it the training program is what you
yeah,
applied for?
mm,
He was talking about wanting to do
yeah.
that as well, but decided he really couldn't justify going to Finland to do it. He's out in
Yeah,
California.
yeah. I think quite many people wanted to go there.
I would love to try that, but I'm too clumsy. I would break something. I've already done it. I've already broken at least 2 cameras trying to fix things, but it's out of my realm. I have a couple friends that have small labs and do small lab developments. Film is often kept alive by these smaller labs and DIY shooters, smaller manufacturers. How do you see vintage visuals and the Ago fitting into that ecosystem rather than competing with it?
Labs don't want to sell Lago because it takes their work away. But those actually labs use also Lago mostly because for black and white development. Um, like even for black and white, Ago is quite useful actually because like getting constantly 20 degree or what's in Fahrenheit, I don't remember, like black and white chemical temperature from tap water is hard. And even on the summer times, it can rise. So Argo comes on handy on that because, okay, it's again it's in Celsius, but like -2 to +4 degrees. It's usually what the chemical specification says, but it comes really handy on the quality side or consistency side for black and white. Also, we have seen people have done ECN2 and E6 because those labs or mini labs are there's not much left. So usually they do also with that Ago. So you can put 8 films at once to the tank and then do like batch of E6 or ECN2. So yeah, this has been quite handy. Even like now the Super 8, like some labs have asked, like they're doing few films per week if they can do Super 8 also. So
I can see it being very useful for smaller labs. And I know there's probably some labs that are worried about this as a competitor, but if they looked at it as a tool to expand their workflow like you're talking about, they'd be in a great spot. Because if a lab doesn't normally offer ECN2 or E6, this would be a great way for them to start offering those services, even on a smaller scale. But if they were doing 8 rolls at a time, they could do an incredible amount of film. It's just, it's not replacing, but it's enhancing a lot of the tools they already have to offer more services. And I wish that other companies weren't so afraid of new products. They shouldn't see it as a competition. They should see it as a new tool in their toolbox that they could use. I have seen some companies saying bad things about Ago, but those other companies were labs, and labs are terrified of this thing.
yeah, like the bread and butter for labs is the development service and scanning service. For me, it's like lab is like if you take it a bit bigger picture, is lab is a really important place actually for analog photography, and we have to support labs on doing that because there is a lot of knowledge in the labs. Otherwise, people wouldn't do as much analog photography as they do at the moment. Like, for instance, like loading even a camera with film is sometimes really difficult for people, and taking it out, worrying maybe the film gets some light leaks or something like that. So I've seen like people take their camera there. Can you take it out? So they help on that, help to choose what film to put in, and they put it in also if needed. So we never haven't wanted to compete with them, but like there are also more experienced analog shooters who mainly have only done black and white. So them also to expand in the color, or we gave them the tool to like discover this color space also. And then we have seen many clients who have done only black and white, and now they're really surprised or encouraged to explore the color also, and look for expired film from eBay and experiment with different things. So
This has made me more comfortable. It's made me more confident in my developing abilities to where I am shooting expired film now. It's expired film was something I avoided. And now, like you said, I'm spending too much money on eBay to buy expired film because this has given me the confidence to do that. Because I have a short attention span, and this has made it so much more easier to focus on the on what I'm doing, because I would be all over the place, and this has taken away the busy work, if that makes sense, where I don't have to do the small things. I can focus on the big picture. So I think this is a valuable toolbox for any film photographer. I don't think that every film photographer needs one, but if they have the income to get one, they should get one because it's such a good product. And this was recently used to develop film at an NFL game, right? With expired film project,
from
Miles,
UK,
right?
yeah, they had kind of nice project. Like they took photos during the game, and in the bathroom they had Arno to develop and then scan some solution there, and during the game they got the results out of that. So it's just quite a nice marketing stunt to make.
That's great marketing. You couldn't ask for better marketing. It's just I was shocked to see that because somebody shared a behind the scenes. It might have been Miles on his Instagram, but I was like, I know that machine. I've seen that machine. It was really cool to see it out there being used with a company like the NFL and somebody like Miles who's well respected in the film community. So it's just, you had to be, did you know they were doing this before it happened, or did you just?
No, we didn't know anything. It's our UK reseller, Analog Wonderland, who supported that.
Yeah,
We didn't know anything about that.
that's a good surprise
Yeah,
to find out
yeah.
about. What do you think the film community gets wrong about companies like yours? Like we've talked about, there's people who think that you just want money and that it's just for profit. What do you have to say to people who are worried about that kind of company?
It's like we have to make our profit somehow. We have to put the bread on our tables also somehow. If we made the technology, like our aim at first was to make it cheaper for people to develop film. So if you look at the competition where we are at, our solution is like the cheapest one on the market to make good C41 negatives. So in our mind, we already are doing the thing really cheaply as possible for them, so the wider audience can appreciate and use it. You have to think also like on a economical side that to like make a profit, you have to have resellers and distributors, and all the distributors and resellers want their margin also. It's about 30% what each participant wants. So you can calculate from there what's our own cost of doing that. Like otherwise, if you're only selling on the internet, you wouldn't have such a big footprint. Like for instance, in US, like freestyle photo is doing really good, but they want to also put some bread and butter on their table. So that's how the business goes. You have to adapt to that, and there are critics, no matter where we go. Like there are always critics. Don't take those too personally. So just move on and listen your customer rather than those guys, and and improve from there. Is my suggestion on that. So
It's really hard to not listen to the people who have the loudest voices sometimes, the people who are yelling about everything. And I've learned a lot of times that people who will criticize about the price of something are usually just wanting their cheapest option and then it'll break on them. Like there are cheap Amazon knockoffs of every product and then people get upset when it breaks. And if they had just spent the proper money to buy a great product in the first place, they would be much further ahead. And I'm not somebody who co-signs or advertises products just because somebody asks me to. If I like a product, I will go to bat for it. I will cheer it on. I will not take money to advertise a product. And this is one of those products that I would recommend. Like this product is something that I think is so well thought out, so well done, so well put together, great customer service, and it's at a great price point. So people shouldn't be upset with that price point. They should respect the amount of R&D and knowledge and technology and probably a billion prototypes. It's just you guys have to cover all of that. All of that went into this one machine. And people don't realize that. They're just worried about their wallets instead of worrying about how much time and money went into this. Because it had to have been an insane amount of money and an insane amount of time and a lot of frustration.
that's correct. Like I have drawers full of my prototypes, early prototypes. There is also other side of things. It's probably people are not always about the money, about the critiques, but like this is kind of new technology, and we kind of have to explain the technology, and there is a natural tendency for people if they don't understand it or believe it's not possible, they kind of reject it, and then this could be also the source of the critique for us. So we're not blaming for that. It's our work to do to explain that product better, and yeah, maybe they jump on board like in a few years then, when they see from the other people that this kind of solution works actually. Like when we started, like everyone said, like if you're developing under 38 degrees Celsius, again 67 or what was it, you will get the color shifts. So we kind of have to prove that it's always not correct actually. Like if you take the Kodak research papers, you kind of see that like the red and blue and green channels develop differently at different temperatures, and that like the default temperature is the right place where you should do that. But like this actually doesn't give a full picture. Like for instance, if you develop 8 degrees Fahrenheit lower by eye, you don't make any difference. Like if you're like 15 Fahrenheit lower, then you will get like small shifts in greens. They kind of become more washed out. But like if you messed up your temperature, at least you get the result, and then you can go to Lightroom or where you convert your negatives, and you can help that a little bit to go up. So it's not a problem actually. So
I didn't mean to interrupt you. I'm just curious about how much film that you went through during the testing phase of this machine. Because for you to have this kind of knowledge, you had to have gone through a lot of film in the prototyping process for this.
actually, in prototyping, not much. I just validated, and the validation was quite easy actually. At first, a few chemical producers give a data sheets where they specify development times at different temperatures. So from there, we could make our own mathematical formula for that to follow that, basically the bat. Uh, and you just develop film at different temperature, same scene, same camera, and you see the results. It was quite easy. But like from there, there are a lot of chemical manufacturers who don't specify temperatures and times at different temperatures. So I burned through a lot of those test strips that are used in mini labs. Those give the D max and D minimum and some half black paths. So this is kind of a lot of work actually. It's like you make a development, see that value isn't correct, so you have to make again. Then you put more time, keep the temperature same, put more time or less time to get the point correct. This takes a lot of work actually.
It sounds to me like you're very good at math, and I am not. So that's why it seems so
Actually,
daunting to
I'm
me.
not. So we had a mathematician for that. So I just had a general idea what they want, and then the mathematician made it work. The people had to find again, so it wasn't easy.
You said it was hard to find all these people to work with and collaborate with. Did you like the collaboration experience once you found the people, or was it frustrating still?
It depends who is the person. Like, and then you choose who you like, and yeah, for sure. Working with people is much better than working alone. Then you get many more ideas for the direction to move in, and you get better result out of that. So if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, you go together.
That is good advice. I have never heard that advice. I
Thank you.
like that. I like working alone when it comes to the podcast because then I can go at my pace. When I'm going out to actually shoot photos, I like other people being around. It's just I don't know. There's something calming about working solo for me, but that collaboration for me, it always has better results, I think. And I guess the podcast is a collaboration, like we're collaborating by talking. But as far as my back end workflow where I'm editing and going crazy at my computer trying to put things together, that's the part I like to be alone on.
What I studied in uni was also, it's called design thinking. And in essence, design is collaborative work. So you can't do a design alone. It's conceptual art actually, doing it alone. And conceptual art can have a meaning, but most times maybe not. But design is collaborative work. For me, it's the process basically was at first, I didn't know anything about the topic. Then I started reading about that. Then I started doing interviews. And then I kind of formalized some kind of concepts in my mind and started validating that these concepts, different concepts. In the end, I find some kind of path to basically I found a problem to solve. I didn't have any solution for that at that point, but I had a problem. So the problem was that developing film at home like C41 is difficult, and the main problem is the temperature part. And I had a problem. Then I started looking at solutions. So this was the second stage to that. I knew what others do, and then I digged more because these solutions didn't satisfy what I wanted to create. I wanted to make affordable developing solution, and then I found like the Ilford shows that you can develop actually film at different temperatures, but the time is changing. Current technology, it's not really impossible to replicate in microelectronics. From there, it came basically, and then I found out like there are some graphs also for C41, and this was basically my Heureka moment. Like the Heureka moment was actually like I made a survey in the first part. What's the biggest problem for you developing film at home? And I found out that the temperature is the biggest problem.
It's impressive that you saw a problem and rather than just complaining about it or not doing anything and just making do, you went out and created a solution to a problem. There's not there's a small amount of people in the world who see a problem and want actually go out of their way to solve the problem. And I want to commend you on taking the initiative to solve a problem that so many people had and all people wanted to do was complain about it rather than solve that problem.
Usually concentrate more in a problem. And I try to explain to my coworker the problem because like doing it individually, switching from the problem to solution is sometimes quite hard actually. because I like to concentrate on the problem, explain it to people, and people tell me the solution for that. So it's like in a collaboration, it's sometimes much easier to go forward.
Like you said, sometimes you'll be focusing on one hard part of the problem, and somebody else who may not even specifically know what you're working on can have that answer just through conversation. That's happened with me through my entire life about different professions I'm working in. There's people who can help you solve things just through the idea of talking. And it sounds like you've really embraced that idea.
Yeah, sure. I like to go like there is like even in Toyota lean manufacturing ideology is like ask five whys. Why is it broken? Because the bearing is broken. Why is the bearing broken? Like you can go really deep, and in the end you have the root problem to that. So diving into the problem as a designer or engineer, usually like before my design studies, I was studying mechanical engineering, and usually you're really solution oriented. You're not really diving into the problem actually. So you just make stuff because people told to make stuff. No one investigating was that problem even a problem. It's kind of mindset shift, and to make better solutions actually, to concentrate a lot onto the problems. So
I've been doing some soul searching lately, and I haven't been in the best mindset for problem solving. It's been more about focusing on the problem. And hearing you talk about this, even from a production standpoint, really makes me reflect on my own shortcomings about focusing too much on the problem. So this is another one of those situations where I'm taking advice from something that has nothing to do with what my problems actually are, and maybe trying to face those problems more head on. And then maybe I can end up with an end product as good as the Ago.
I wish you luck.
I'm not going to build an Ago. I'm talking metaphorically. I don't have the technology or the money to build this. It's just, I find these conversations really helpful, even if it's not specifically about what the product is. I think there's something we can learn from every conversation. And this is one of those conversations I'm going to be thinking about for a while, especially when I'm editing it and listening to everything 3 times over.
I think like rerouting yourself is really important in sometimes in your life. So getting the problems right and then just fulfilling the everyday duties as a good Christian.
Yeah, it's all a matter of having the awareness to reflect back on yourself and make those changes. And it's just like when you're prototyping things, you're always prototyping yourself as well. And a lot of people just always think of themselves as the finished product. And then they're just like, all right, this is the product. And I've been doing a lot of, I'm working on model 2.0 is what I'm saying basically. So I'm trying to grow as my own product.
When I went to Australia, I was also fed up of the life in my home, and I was kind of wandering around and meeting new persons and having a new experiences and affect what I experienced about analog photography, because it's really slow process. There are so-called slow movements. It started from the slow food, starting from Italy. And the basic idea is that you meet the person who grows the stuff, so you get to more know what you're eating. So analog is also basically a slow photography. And because of the process, you kind of appreciate what's around you, and you understand, like it's not so fast paced, because life is so fast paced. You have to sometimes slow down to see what's around you. So I think analog photography is a really good tool to slow down and just appreciate the beauty what's like around you.
The world is moving at a scary fast pace, and removing yourself from that sometimes, whether it be focusing on a product or film photography, or just disconnecting from the social world for a little bit, the online social world, and just focusing on what's around you, like you said, it can it can create that mindset shift. And it's really something I've been trying to be mindful of over the past month or so, because with what I'm doing, I spend a lot of time on social media, more time than I should. And I didn't realize how bad it has gotten until the last week or so. And even in the last week of just stepping back and taking a look at the bigger picture of things, it has been so beneficial for my mental health, for my physical health, getting the right amount of sleep instead of scrolling through my Instagram feed. It's just, you're right, analog photography is one of those things that just removes you from that fast pace, or cooking your food at home from scratch. So I think that is valuable advice. It's the slowing down is very important.
Go to darkroom, make some prints.
I'm building one, but I'm not ready yet. I'm not ready to start creating my own prints yet. I have to build 2 walls and get an enlarger, but then I'm ready to go for a dark room. It's scary for me because I've never done the darkroom prints. I've only ever printed my stuff digitally, but darkroom printing is one of my goals for this year, and I can use this.
For black and white, I think you should have trays, but like for color, you can use Argo. And actually, people think that RF4 printing or color darkroom printing is really hard. Like the complexity there is because you have different color channels, and getting the colors right that is sometimes really complex. I remember when I started, I like basically did 10 prints of one scene or photo to get it right. Like when you get used to that, it's actually quite straightforward, and actually the process is a bit faster than black and white. On black and white, you have different contrasts is what you have to get right. So it's quite similar actually, but it's not really difficult. Even on our website, there is instructions on RF4 printing how to make it. But yeah, it's like getting to darkroom sometimes alone. It's like it's so totally different world, and you just can't concentrate on one thing. It's really good.
I'm really excited about darkroom printing. My goal is by the end of the year. I really want to do that. It's just a matter of actually doing it and focusing on that, because with the podcast having the success it has, I've been consumed by doing this, and I'm trying to actually take time to do the things I want to do and not always prioritizing the show as much, because I shot my first roll of film yesterday, and I haven't shot since, it's been 3 weeks for me, which is an insanely long time. And it helped me immediately that that stepping away and finding a new world, going into my downstairs bathroom to put stuff on the reels, it was almost a therapeutic experience or a meditative experience. And I'm hoping that darkroom printing brings me that same feeling as developing does.
Yeah, it's always with the new things. It's you kind of immerse yourself with full body into that. So yeah, I think you will.
I probably
Like for
will.
me, it's also sometimes like doing the analog photography. For like I've done it like 6 or 7 years already, and I'm getting kind of used to that process already, and I'm not appreciating the value what it has so much anymore, or not taking time to think about the frame too much. But sometimes you have to do the full circle and see the photo in front of you, and then think what you could make better in some steps, and yeah, reroute yourself back to the.
What camera are you typically shooting when you're shooting now?
I'm mostly 35 millimeters. I bought ECN2 film, like 250D, so I have a lot of film. And Canon, Canon A1 is my go-to camera.
Oh, nice. I shoot the A1. That's my favorite camera of all time is the A1. Great cameras, man. That's my all-time favorite camera. I can't say the way I feel about this is the same way I feel about the Canon.
Yeah, I had like a Canon digital camera because of that I bought the Canon camera, and the A1 seemed really good, and yeah, that's why. Yeah.
I came from Sony. For digital, I shoot Sony only because I also do video. And for film, I knew I wanted to go for Canon. And the camera was a gift from my friend, and I didn't think it worked for the longest time until I put a new battery in it, and then I was just I'm inseparable from that camera. It goes with me everywhere. Anytime I leave my house, it comes with me.
What lens you have?
I have the 51.8, and I have a couple other ones that I don't really use. I like 50 millimeter for film. I never shoot 50 millimeter for digital. If it's only for film, I don't understand why.
Yeah, same. 50 mil is the main lens. Fixed lens, yeah. I think I have 1.4, so more light. I think there is
really
even
nice.
like 1.2, but
Yeah.
it's really crazy expensive.
Yeah, I've seen that. 1.2. I don't know. None of my digital lenses even shoot at 1.2. I think the best I have is 1.4. What process are you using to remove remjet? Or are you actually using the ECN2 chemicals to remove remjet?
I usually have C41 chemicals laying around because of testing and stuff like that. So there are ramjet remover chemicals for sale. First step is to remove the ramjet, like 10 seconds the chemical, and then you shake it rigorously, take the AG off and put lid on, and then you shake it, and then you get the ramjet off, and you can do normal C41. So
I use baking soda.
that this doesn't work as good as the proprietary ramjet removing chemicals.
I don't know. I've never had a problem with it. I think it takes a little bit longer. It takes me, I think, 3 minutes to remove remjet with the baking soda. But I love shooting that old cinema film so much. You can get it really cheap. I have 3 bulk rolls of the Vision film I'm going through right now. So I was really excited that you were talking about having 250D because I love the Vision films.
I don't know why, but I usually get a bit greenish photos out of that. It's more like a Fuji, and I really liked Fuji stock, so I kind of like the 250D. So
I'm usually shooting like 200T, 500T, and 800T, but I'm putting it through a warming filter because it's way too blue for daylight shooting. But other than that, the 85B filter fixes all that, and I can get the bulk roll for way cheaper than I could get buying from Cinestill or any of those other companies. Specifically Cinestill, because I can't afford that. That's too rich for my blood.
yeah, Cinestill is a bit expensive also. Only when you need the
Yes,
speed,
it
I
is.
get the 800. So
I found this on Etsy. It's the Vision 800T. It's got the remjet, so there's not the halation effect that everybody likes. But I'm really excited about it. I've shot 3 rolls of it and hated every bit of it. But I'm trying to figure out the correct exposure because it was advertised that it was not expired, and it is definitely
yeah,
expired.
because Kodak doesn't make any more of that. It's like 500T is the fastest.
Yeah. So they said it was frozen. It was not frozen. There's no way it was frozen because it is very, very grainy and very muddy. So I'm going through my own R&D of figuring out what I'm actually supposed to shoot this at. And it's been a frustrating challenge, but it's a fun one. And that's why I like film so much, is because you can navigate through challenges, and there are people out there that you can reach out to who will give you advice, and there are so many different things you can do with it. And I don't know, it's just more exciting to me.
It is like that.
All right, man. Well, I'm not going to take up too much more of your time here. Thank you so much for coming on. I absolutely love this product. I am going to try to convince all of my friends to buy one, even if they argue with me about it. I've let a couple of my friends use it, and they've talked about buying one. So well done, and thank you for putting out a new product into the film community that actually cares about the film community. I'm really looking forward to whatever Vintage Visuals does next.
Thanks for having me, and try to continue on our good work to make some good products in the future. So hope for the bright future. So yeah, for the analog also bright future, because who knows, maybe it's like 20 years, it's gone. So
I think it'll be sticking around for a while, and I think that you guys are going to be sticking around for a while, man. So congratulations on all of your success, and I am looking forward to the more successes in the future for you. And just know that there are people out there cheering for you guys, and I'm hoping people watch this episode and realize that they absolutely need to buy one of these things. And you didn't even pay me to say it, so this is a great product, and go buy the Ago from Vintage Visuals,
yeah,
people.
thank you.